The winner is Julie Andrews, Mary Poppins.
Thank you very much for this lovely honor.
She won Oscars.
The shocking affair began on a movie set in 1965. She was married, he was married, and their chemistry was explosive. When gossip began swirling about their secret hotel meetings, studio bosses threatened to destroy them both. Julie Andrews chose silence, until now. The Sound of Music star finally reveals the forbidden romance that cost her everything. Born in 1935 in the small English town of Walton-on-Thames, Julie's life was complicated from the very beginning. Her mother, Barbara, had an affair with a family friend, and Julie was the result. For years, she believed another man was her father and only discovered the truth at age 15, a secret she kept until revealing it decades later in her autobiography. When World War II began, her family fell apart. Her parents separated and remarried, and Julie bounced between households, sometimes living with her biological father, other times with her mother and new stepfather, Ted Andrews. Life with Ted wasn't easy. He drank heavily and overstepped serious boundaries, forcing Julie to lock her bedroom door at night to protect herself. They lived in a poor part of London, struggling to get by. Julie later said those war years were among the darkest of her life. But even in that chaos, one light remained: her voice. Her troubled stepfather noticed her vocal talent and arranged singing lessons, which led Julie to Madame Lillian Stiles Allen, a renowned vocal coach. She called her third mother. Madame recognized Julie's incredible range and clarity, though Julie joked her highest notes were audible only to dogs. By age 10, Julie was performing with her parents, standing on beer crates to reach the microphone, singing while her mother played piano. She soon began entertaining troops, traveling with child star Petula Clark and even sleeping in luggage racks between shows. At 12, her stepfather introduced her to a man who ran top London theatres. He gave her a chance, and she soared. Her debut came at the London Hippodrome, singing a challenging French opera piece that brought the house down. That night led to a year-long engagement, where she performed skits with balloon comedian Wally Bogue, wowing crowds with her voice. At 13, Julie became the youngest soloist ever to perform at the Royal Variety Show in front of the King and Queen. From there, her rise was rapid. She appeared on radio, television, and in children's plays like Jack and the Beanstalk and Cinderella. Her first film was a voice role in an Italian cartoon, The Singing Princess, but her eyes were set on bigger dreams. At 19, she debuted on Broadway in The Boyfriend, landing the lead role of Polly Brown. It was British actress Hattie Jacques who had recommended her, a gesture Julie never forgot. Accepting the role meant leaving her family and financial responsibilities behind in England, a terrifying leap. But her father urged her to go, and that choice changed everything. Her performance wowed critics and audiences alike, earning her the Theatre World Award and setting her on a new path. Among the impressed were Broadway legends Alan J. Lerner and Frederick Loewy, who cast her as Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady. At just 20, Julie became a sensation. Her transformation from Cockney flower girl to refined lady showcased her acting and vocal brilliance. The show was a Broadway juggernaut, spawning a hit cast album and transferring successfully to London's West End. In 1960, she starred in Camelot alongside Welsh actor Richard Burton. Sparks flew on stage and off. Julie later admitted to being strongly attracted to him. Though he initially kept things professional, when Burton eventually made a move, Julie shocked even herself by snapping back with a curse, what she humorously described as Mary Poppins let fly. Their chemistry only intensified on stage. The show initially struggled but surged in popularity after a performance aired on The Ed Sullivan Show, running for 3 years. Burton won a Tony, and Julie earned another nomination. One very important viewer took notice: Walt Disney. He watched Julie in Camelot and instantly knew she was his Mary Poppins. But before she could take on that role, heartbreak struck. Warner Brothers was adapting My Fair Lady into a film, and despite originating the role on stage, Julie was passed over for the more famous Audrey Hepburn. It stung, especially since Hepburn couldn't sing and had to be dubbed. Julie later quipped that if she'd been asked to sing for Audrey's voice, she'd have spat in their eye. But losing My Fair Lady opened the door to Mary Poppins. Disney offered her the role after seeing her in Camelot and even waited when she said she was pregnant. He believed in her completely, even renting a house in Los Angeles for her family. When Mary Poppins premiered in 1964, it was a smash hit, grossing over $44 million in the U.S. alone. At the 1965 Oscars, it triumphed. Julie won Best Actress while Hepburn wasn't even nominated. With cheeky grace, Julie thanked Jack Warner, the executive who'd rejected her. Ironically, Mary Poppins earned more than My Fair Lady, despite costing far less. Julie had officially arrived. Then came The Sound of Music in 1965. It was more than a hit, it was a phenomenon, grossing $286 million worldwide. As Maria Von Trapp, the spirited nun who restores music and joy to a grieving family, Julie became a global icon. The film's opening shot, her twirling on a mountaintop, became cinematic legend, though filming it meant being repeatedly knocked over by a helicopter's wind. The movie won 5 Oscars, including Best Picture, and Julie became Hollywood's Golden Girl. But with success came a new challenge. She was being typecast as the perfect singing nanny. And Julie knew she needed to break free from the mold. In 1964, Julie Andrews chose a dramatically different role in the Americanization of Emily, a dark World War II drama where she portrayed a British widow opposite James Garner. For the first time, she wasn't singing, she was purely acting, and she proved her versatility. She followed this with Alfred Hitchcock's Torn Curtain in 1966, a Cold War spy thriller co-starring Paul Newman. Though Universal Pictures banked on their combined star power, Hitchcock was dissatisfied, believing both actors were too polished for the gritty realism he envisioned. Critics were divided, but the audience turnout spoke volumes. The film grossed over $13 million on a $3 million budget. That same year, Andrews starred in Hawaii, a massive historical epic with a $15 million budget, the largest of its time. Despite weather delays and tidal wave warnings, it became the year's highest-grossing film. Julie played a strong-willed woman who followed her missionary husband to the islands, but the spotlight was unexpectedly stolen by newcomer Jocelyn Lagarde, who portrayed a Hawaiian queen and won a Golden Globe for her performance. By the end of the 1960s, however, the magic began to wane. In 1968, Andrews took on Star, a biopic of stage actress Gertrude Lawrence. Despite the same director behind The Sound of Music and a large budget, the film was panned. Critics called her performance too theatrical. Variety labeled it overdone high-toned heightenedness. It flopped so badly it became one of the most expensive failures of the decade. Then came Darling Lili in 1970, directed by her husband Blake Edwards. Intended to reinvent her image, the film featured her swearing and even doing a striptease, shockingly out of step with her wholesome reputation. Audiences didn't embrace the change, and the $25 million movie bombed. Despite receiving Golden Globe nominations for both flops, her box office appeal was in question. In 1972, she pivoted to television with the Julie Andrews Hour, a variety show filled with music, comedy, and guest stars. ABC had so much faith in her they signed a 5-year deal. Though critics praised her charm and range, the ratings didn't follow. It was cancelled after 1 season. Ironically, a month later, the show won 7 Emmy Awards from 10 nominations, an award-winning show that hardly anyone had watched. Looking for yet another reinvention, she hit the nightclub circuit. Far from the Alps and children, she performed jazz in smoky clubs, cracked jokes about Hollywood, and poked fun at her squeaky clean image. Critics and audiences loved this new version of her, sharp, funny, and completely in control. Then, in 1979, she returned triumphantly to the big screen with 10, a modern romantic comedy directed by Edwards. It grossed over $74 million, proving her star power remained. In 1981's S.O.B., she shocked audiences by appearing topless, an intentional move to burn the old image and forge a new identity. But the real turning point was Victor/Victoria in 1982, where she played a struggling singer pretending to be a man who pretends to be a woman to land a gig. The role was bold, clever, and layered, exploring themes of gender, identity, and survival. It earned her another Golden Globe, an Oscar nomination, and firmly repositioned her beyond the shadow of Maria Von Trapp. While her career evolved, her personal life grew more complex. She married set designer Tony Walton in 1959. They had known each other since childhood and reconnected as pen pals. Their daughter, Emma, was born in 1962 while Julie balanced Broadway, motherhood, and a rising film career. But work kept them apart, sometimes separated by months or continents, and the emotional toll became overwhelming. She later admitted feeling torn between being a mother and an actress, and even between her husband and child. The strain eventually led to their divorce in 1969. Emotionally exhausted, she turned to therapy, encouraged by director Mike Nichols. Therapy helped her process what she called the clutter and garbage in her mind, giving her clarity and inner strength. She later spoke publicly about mental health, hoping her story might help others. Fate intervened in the most Hollywood of ways. Outside her therapist's office, she ran into director Blake Edwards. Both had experienced heartbreak, and their quiet pain found an unexpected harmony. Despite a 13-year age gap, something clicked. They married in 1969, blending their lives both personally and professionally. Julie became a stepmother to his children, and later, they adopted 2 daughters from Vietnam, Amy and Joanna. They also collaborated on 7 films, including S.O.B. and Victor/Victoria. Even when some projects failed, like Darling Lily, they never let work affect their bond. Julie often said Blake's biting humor balanced her seriousness, and their marriage lasted 41 years until his death in 2010. She continued to call it a true love story. But long before Blake, there had been another emotionally charged chapter. In 1960, during her Broadway run in Camelot, Julie starred opposite Richard Burton. Their onstage chemistry was undeniable, and offstage things were complicated. She was married, but cracks were beginning to show. Burton was intense, magnetic, and difficult to ignore. Julie admitted feeling tempted, but she never acted on it, choosing professionalism and loyalty. That discipline likely saved her from deeper heartache. Then came The Sound of Music in 1965. She starred as Maria opposite Christopher Plummer. Their on-screen chemistry was magical, and behind the scenes, they quietly nursed mutual crushes. Both were enduring personal struggles. Yet despite their closeness, nothing romantic happened. Plummer would later joke they should have had a smashing affair, but life, children, and timing got in the way. Instead, they built a deep and enduring friendship. Julie credited him with keeping The Sound of Music grounded and never overly sweet. Over the decades, they remained close, sharing laughs, support, and mutual admiration. When Plummer passed away in 2021, Julie described their bond as a great friendship that lasted until the end. Life changed, and so did Julie Andrews' career. The 1980s brought new challenges. In That's Life, 1986, she played a singer facing the possibility of cancer, a role that hit close to home, as doctors had discovered a lesion on her throat around the same time. The film explored themes of aging, relationships, and the fear of the unknown. That same year, she starred in Duet for One, portraying a renowned violinist diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. The story was raw and emotional, and it gave her the opportunity to act alongside Liam Neeson, whose intense performance added depth to the film. Both roles earned her Golden Globe nominations, proving that Andrews was far more than just a musical star. By the 1990s, she began exploring television. In 1992, she starred in the sitcom Julie, playing a TV personality who moves to a small town after marrying a veterinarian. The show was directed by her husband Blake Edwards, but it struggled to find an audience and was cancelled after just 7 episodes. Despite this setback, Andrews found success elsewhere. Julie Andrews, The Sound of Christmas, 1987, won 5 Emmy Awards. In 1989, she reunited with Carol Burnett for Julie and Carol, Together Again, and in 1990, she performed in Julie Andrews in concert, reminding everyone of her enduring star power. After 30 years away from Broadway, Andrews made a triumphant return in 1993 with Putting It Together, a Stephen Sondheim review about relationships and regrets. Though it was a small off-Broadway production that ran for only 59 performances, it marked an important comeback. 2 years later, she starred in the Broadway adaptation of Victor/Victoria, playing Victoria Grant, a woman pretending to be a man performing as a female impersonator. The show became a massive success, running for over 700 performances. That same year, she was nominated for a Tony Award for the role, but when she discovered she was the only cast member nominated, she made the bold decision to reject the nomination. It wasn't out of pride or bitterness. She simply believed the entire cast deserved recognition. This rare act in Broadway history revealed her humility and deep sense of integrity. In 2001, Andrews returned to Disney after 37 years with The Princess Diaries, where she played Queen Clarice Rinaldi, a royal grandmother guiding her awkward granddaughter, played by Anne Hathaway. Director Gary Marshall cast her without an audition, knowing she was perfect for the role. This was her first Disney film since Mary Poppins, 1964, for which she won an Academy Award. Her performance brought warmth and humor, making Queen Clarice one of her most beloved roles. She mentored Hathaway on set, though she insisted Hathaway needed little guidance. The film was a commercial success, grossing $165 million worldwide. In the sequel, The Princess Diaries 2, Royal Engagement, 2004, Andrews even had a rare singing moment, despite losing her full singing voice after a 1997 surgery. That same year, she voiced Queen Lillian in Shrek 2, playing Fiona's mother, a kind and supportive queen. Unusually for animated films, she recorded scenes with John Cleese to enhance their on-screen chemistry. The Shrek franchise became a global hit, and Andrews reprised her role in Shrek the Third, 2007, and Shrek Forever After, 2010. In 2007, she narrated Enchanted, a Disney film that blended fairy tales with the real world. Her voice set the magical tone, bridging classic and modern Disney storytelling. The movie earned over $340 million globally. She also took on a comedic role in Tooth Fairy, 2010, playing Lily, the head fairy guiding Dwayne Johnson's character through his magical punishment. The film grossed $112 million, proving Andrews could still shine in light-hearted family films. In 2016, Andrews directed a stage production of My Fair Lady for its 60th anniversary. The show premiered at the Sydney Opera House and toured various cities. She ensured the production honored the original by using archived designs to recreate sets and costumes. The show broke box office records and received rave reviews. In 2017, she co-created and hosted Julie's Green Room, a Netflix educational series teaching children about the performing arts. The show featured celebrity guests like Alec Baldwin and Idina Menzel and was co-produced with her daughter, Emma Walton Hamilton, making it a true family project. The series earned 2 Daytime Emmy nominations. Julie Andrews had a voice that felt like magic. Her 4-octave soprano made Mary Poppins and The Sound of Music unforgettable. But by 1995, while performing Victor/Victoria on Broadway, her voice began to strain. What started as minor hoarseness became persistent. In 1997, doctors found a lesion on her vocal cords. Some called it non-cancerous nodules, others a benign polyp. Either way, years of singing had taken a toll. Doctors urged rest, but Andrews wanted a lasting solution. In June 1997, she underwent what was supposed to be a routine surgery at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York. Instead, it changed her life forever. The procedure left her with permanent scarring on her vocal cords. The scar tissue stopped them from vibrating properly. Her clear, powerful voice was gone. Even speaking became difficult. At that time, vocal cord surgeries lacked advanced techniques. Some used forceps, others lasers, both carrying high risks of scarring. Andrews later said she had never been fully warned of the dangers. In 1998, her husband Blake Edwards went public, confirming what she had feared most: she would never sing again. Losing her voice felt like losing a part of herself. In December 1999, she took legal action, filing a malpractice lawsuit against Mount Sinai Hospital and the 2 surgeons, claiming they failed to disclose the real risks and had ruined her ability to perform. The case was settled privately in September 2000 for an undisclosed sum. But no settlement could undo the damage. From 2000 onward, Andrews underwent multiple treatments and 4 more surgeries with Dr. Stephen Zeitels at Massachusetts General Hospital. These improved her speaking voice somewhat, but her singing voice never returned. By 2002, she shifted focus to helping others. She supported new research into vocal restoration, working with experts at MIT and Harvard Medical School. Scientists were exploring laser technology and tissue engineering in hopes of healing damaged vocal cords. Andrews hoped that even if she couldn't be helped, someone else could. Through it all, she refused to disappear. She found a new passion in writing. Together with her daughter Emma, she co-wrote a series of children's books. Yet, no matter how much she accomplished, the loss of her voice remained with her. She has spoken about it openly, calling it one of the greatest heartbreaks of her life. Though Julie Andrews may have lost her ability to sing, her legacy is eternal. The world will never forget her voice.